Karl Marx was born on May 5, 1818 in Trier, Prussia. He lived with his father Heinrich and his mother Henrietta.
Hi, I am Heinrich.
Hi, I am Henrietta.
I have been born.
Karl was the third of 9 children, but became the oldest son when his older brother died.
I love my family. My family is 8 siblings. It is great.
Heinrich had access to good education, and thus Karl was privately educated until 1830.
What is 2 plus 2?
Okay, 5. I think final answer is 5.
The Marx family was ancestrally Jewish, but became Lutherans as anti-Semitism began to spread. Karl was baptized in 1824.
I baptize you into a Lutheran church in the name of the Father's.
While in Berlin, Karl marries Jenny von Westphalen, one of his childhood friends. She even left a previous engagement for him. Aw, isn't that sweet?
I love you. Mwah.
I love you.
We do not have much documentation of his adolescent years. When Karl became 17, he began to study philosophy at the University of Bonn.
Karl's love for philosophy grows, and he joins another radical thinking group. His idea for communism grows.
Society is wrong and needs reform. Death to capitalism!
During these years, Karl also becomes an atheist.
Due to his great suffering, his father moved him to the University of Berlin.
Karl's father dies in May 1838, and Karl treasures his memory forever.
No. All my work will be done in your name.
I love you, son.
Karl received his PhD in philosophy at the University of Jena and goes on to write some novels.
I wrote Scorpio and Felix.
Karl moved to Cologne in 1842 and had a daughter named Jenny. It's a girl!
Let's name her Jenny, after you.
Okay.
After the birth of his daughter, his family moved to Paris. Once there, Karl became a part of yet again another radical group, this time a newspaper.
I wrote this article.
Karl writes lots of articles bashing the government and their policies while spreading his communist views.
Communism!
Karl met his best friend Friedrich Engels in France, but later they were both expelled for being in the Communist Society.
Karl's family, along with Engels, moved to Brussels at the end of 1844. Here Karl would write another book, The German Ideology, which states communism would replace capitalism.
Communism!
It's great. His papers soon disbanded, and he fled from France and went to London. Here he rejoined the Communist League and composed 2 pamphlets on the 1848 French Revolution.
Thought they snuffed me out, did they? Well, I'm back in the Communist League!
Also while in London, Marx begins to study political economics in order to determine this new crisis described in his pamphlets.
The German government's in a crisis. Nobody can help them out, and it seems like they're falling into depression.
Interesting.
For the first half of the 1850s, the Marx family lived in poor conditions. Karl and Jenny had 4 children, and 2 more were on the way, but only 3 survived.
By 1857, Karl wrote an 800-page manuscript on his views on government and their policies, mainly communist, of course.
I've done a lot of writing today. This book is thick!
Although Karl never published his works, his best friend, Friedrich Engels, did posthumously.
In 1864, he was elected to the General Council of the First International, an organization that wished to unite different socialist and communist groups.
Thank you for electing me into your General Council. communism!
In his last few years of his life, Marx continued to comment on political issues and on the government system. He even commented on how Russia should go communist, thus fueling Russia to go communist in the near future.
Marx did not improve health-wise, and both his beloved wife and eldest daughter died, haunting his final days. Karl died on March 14, 1883, and was buried in Highgate Cemetery in North London.
On the 14th of March at 2:45 in the afternoon, the greatest living thinker ceased to think. He had been left alone for scarcely 2 minutes, and when we came back, we found him in his armchair, peacefully gone to sleep, but forever. An immeasurable loss has been sustained both by the militant proletariat of Europe and America, and by historical science in the death of this man. The gap that has been left by the departure of this mighty spirit will soon enough make itself felt. Just as Darwin discovered the law of development of organic nature, so Marx discovered the law of development of human history. The simple fact, hitherto concealed by an overgrowth ideology, that mankind must first of all eat, drink, have shelter and clothing before it can pursue politics, science, art, religion, etc. That therefore the production of the immediate material means, and consequently the degree of economic development attained by a given people or during a given epoch, form the foundation upon which the state institutions, legal conceptions, art, and even the ideas on religion of the people concerned have been evolved, and in the light of which they meant, therefore must be explained, instead of vice versa, as had hitherto been the case. But that is not all. Marx also discovered a special law of motion governing the present-day capitalist mode of production, and the bourgeoisie society that this mode of production has created. The discovery of surplus value suddenly threw light on the problem, in trying to solve which all previous investigations of both bourgeoisie economists and socialist critics had been groping in the dark. 2 such discoveries would be enough for one lifetime. Happy the man to whom it is granted to make even one such discovery. But in every single field which Marx investigated, and he investigated very many fields, none of them specifically, in every field, even in that of mathematics, he made independent discoveries. Such was the man of science, but this was not even half the man. Science was for Marx a historically dynamic revolutionary force.
Karl's death left a huge impact and legacy on the world. Once the Russian Revolution rolled around, people looked at Marx's work for guidance, creating a communist regime in Russia. With Russia following his ideals, they became increasingly more communist. Eventually, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or the USSR, came into being.